Hello guys, this is your friend Shinobi A Addict 2.0 and we are back with a new fanfic. Which is What If Naruto Got Ultimate Harem with Tsunade Mei Terumi and Fem Kyuubi Part 1. And if you enjoy this fanfic then please press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more fanfic like this. And now let's start the fanfic. Naruto walks down the street, well shuffles. He can't bring himself to care enough to pick up his feet all the way off the ground. His eyes are his and not his at the same time. They have been described as piercing, deep, kind, an open book. This is not correct. Naruto's eyes are pointed at the ground and have been ever since he came back from his fight at the valley at the end. Where Sasuke, his best friend, put a Chidori through his chest. And after the whole thing Sakura. Naruto doesn't even want to think about Sakura. His eyes now can be described as dull, more of a green shade than blue, and dead. He has the look of a dead man. Alive, but dead. Naruto walks through the market on his way home, not something that he would normally do. But he can't bring himself to care. As he passes through, jeers and catcalls are made. Then things go south. People start throwing things. At first it is things like eggs and cabbage, but it quickly upgrades to sharp objects like knives and kunai. They pierce, slice, and cut his skin, but he doesn't even flinch, doesn't make a sound. He just keeps on plodding on towards his apartment. Things don't stop there. One civilian takes his lack of response as a sign of weakness and runs up to him before stabbing him with a chief's knife. Naruto still doesn't respond. Then the crowd descends. Punching, kicking, stabbing, slicing, peeling. Naruto keeps on walking until he physically is unable to. He collapses on the ground and the mob goes in for the kill. Fuden. Datapa. Wind release. Great breakthrough. The mob is thrown back, revealing a very bloody Naruto. His clothes are virtually non-existent and his is laying in a pool of his own blood. A silver-haired man in a mask quickly wraps Naruto up and shunshin's body flicker technique to the hospital. Time skip -12 hours. Konohagakure Hospital. Naruto wakes to the beeping of machinery. It is one he knows very well. Over his lifetime, he has been in the hospital more times than he can count. He moves his head to the side and sees Jiraiya sitting on the windowsill. Welcome back to the world of the living Gaki, brat. Naruto doesn't answer. This worries him. Normally Naruto is very energetic and would be opposed to being called a brat. But instead Naruto just turns his head and stares at the wall. Jiraiya sighs. He knows exactly why Naruto is acting like he is. Hey Naruto, how would you like to come with me on a 3-year training trip? Naruto lifts his head and then stares at Jiraiya. Only one thought is going through his head. I want to get away from here. From her. Naruto nods his head, eliciting a smile from Jiraiya. Good. Tsunade Harem has already approved it. When you are released go home and pack then go to Tsunade's office. Oh and don't take the market again. Take the rooftops. We don't want another incident like the one that put you in here in the first place. Naruto doesn't give any sign that he heard Jiraiya. But Jiraiya isn't going to baby him. With a wave Jiraiya hops out the window and goes to Tsunade's office. Hokage's office. When Jiraiya arrives, he lands on the window outside the office. He looks in and sees Tsunade talking, more like yelling, at a quivering Sakura. As of this moment, Haruno Sakura, your shinobi license is permanently revoked for conduct unbecoming a shinobi and conspiracy to harm your own teammate. You will no longer be a ninja, train to be a ninja, or attempt to be a ninja. You are a civilian and will remain so for as long as you are in this village. Now get out of my office. Sakura bursts into tears and runs out of the office, not bothering to shut the door. Shuzin walks into the office and closes the door behind her. Was that really necessary? Banishing her forever. Tsunade snorts. Jiraiya, get your in here. And use the door next time. She roars at him. It is never a good day for a Kage when she has to remove a shinobi license. Jiraiya clambers through the window. It's not my fault that the window has a huge ledge. It's like the founders wanted people to use it. Jiraiya ducks under a chair that is tosses at him and embeds itself in the wall. Anyways, yes, I do think that she doesn't deserve to be called a shinobi anymore. What she pulled is worse than anything I can think of. And to do it to Naruto, who has trust issues and a fragile mind to begin with, just made the decision easier. You realize that people aren't going to be happy about this. The council will try to have her reinstated, Jiraiya states. Tsunade chuckles evilly. The council already isn't happy with me, especially I put to death all those who assaulted Naruto. Let them try to bring her back. It won't make a difference. The council is my advisor, not my right hand. They aren't supposed to have any power and I'm returning it to the original state. I have been looking for a way to disband the civilian side of the council ever since I took this job. This is a hidden village, not a damn democracy. Changes are coming to the council. Even Danzo isn't going to be much of a factor after I get through with him. Jiraiya nods. This is why his former sensei wanted her even before his death. Her knew that she would stand up to the council in ways that he never could. Are you sure that you aren't showing favoritism to Naruto? He is like a brother to you, Shizune questions. Oh, I'm quite sure. You see. The door opens and an Anbu steps through. With a low bow he speaks. Excuse the intrusion, Hokage-sama, but the council is requesting an emergency meeting. Tsunade smirks. Those old bastards move quickly when they want to. Very well. Tell Anbu Squad 6, 7, and 8 to report to the council room. Tell them they are not to be detected. The Anbu straightens. As you wish. The door closes. Well, it is time I put this village straight. When do you leave, Jiraiya? A few hours after Naruto gets out of the hospital. I checked and he is scheduled to be released anytime. I told him to meet me here. Tsunade nods and stretches. Well, I'm off. Don't let him die, Jiraiya. With that, Tsunade leaves with Shizune in tow. Council chambers. Tsunade bursts through the door, silencing the entire room. Before her sits the Shinobi Council, the Civilian Council, and the village elders, split even the 4th of December 12, and the 3 with her as the deciding vote. Why has this meeting been called? Tsunade demands, not even talking a seat. You have gone too far this time, Tsunade. A faceless woman shouts. We demand that you reinstate Haruno Sakura and put the demon to death. Shouts a porky man. Yes, you must put the Kyuubi incarnate to death for what he did to Uchiha-sama. A very fat man shouts before being severely winded from the outburst. We demand you give reparations for those families you killed. This one comes from a pink-haired woman who looks just like Sakura but older. Tsunade raises an eyebrow. Really? Anbu? Kill these men. The heads of the men who shouted second and third are now rolling on the ground. What the hell are you doing? Another faceless and nameless merchant shouts. Tsunade slams her hands on the table, breaking it and silencing the room. Those men broke the Sandame's law, and last time I checked, assaulting and nearly killing a shinobi is punishable by death. As of this moment, the civilian council is disbanded. The room is filled with shouts and threats. The shinobi clan heads just sit there and wait for Tsunade to lose her patience. Anbu. 24 shinobi appear out of the walls, various weapons drawn. The room instantly goes loud with shouts of outrage. Tsunade punches a wall, caving it in, forcing silence in the room. As you may have guessed, I am in command of this village, not you sniveling politicians who hide behind laws to further yourselves to the detriment of others. The council is only an advisory one. You do not hold power, you do not engage in activities behind the Hokage, you do not undermine my authority. I am resuming full command of this village and returning this council to original purpose. And there is nothing any of you can do about it. From now on, the advisory board will have no power to make decisions. They will be at my beck and call and will answer only to me. Anbu, escort these civilians to Ibiki and Anko. I hear she likes to hear screaming in the morning. Let's see how much information about stabbing me in the back he can get out of them. The ex-civilian council is rounded up, bound, and carried to the interrogation department where Anko and Ibiki are already waiting. Now that that is out of the way, does anybody have any problems with my authority? She asks sweetly. The clan heads and the village elders all shake their heads. Good. Does anybody have anything they would like to add to the agenda of the advisory board to discuss? I was wondering when you were going to get rid of those conspirators, Sum comments. Shikaku lazily speaks up. So what happens now? Are we expected to deal with commerce and civilian matters now? Tsunade shakes her head. As much as I distaste paperwork, most of it will fall on me. You are only an advisory board. I will come to you when I need advice on certain things to proceed, and that is that. Such things will be who makes Chunin and Jonin, but I will ultimately have the say. I will also be relying on a few of you in areas that I have no expertise and experience in, but know your workload will not drastically increase. Oh, and you no longer have as many privileges. Being on this advisory board no longer protects you. You break a law, then you are subject to the consequences. You will retain all clan rights and all that it implies. If there is nothing else, then this meeting is adjourned. Tsunade walks out of the room. Throughout the entire meeting, Danzo said nothing. But under his impassive mask, he is seething. Damn her. She has ruined most of my plans. I must get rid of her before she ruins the rest of them. But she did save me a lot work when I become Hokage. All I have to do then is just disband the advisory board, which won't be difficult at all seeing as how they have no power anymore. Danzo leaves the advisory board chambers, unaware of the shadow Hokage office. Tsunade sits in her chair feeling better than she has in a long time. Jiraiya is still there waiting for Naruto. An Anbu opens the door. Hokage-sama, Danzo is on the move. We have Tracker Squad 9 on him now. Jiraiya's eyebrow almost gets lost in his hairline. Excellent. Bring me the Jonin instructors, clan heads, and all Anbu squad captains. Without a word, the Anbu disappears. So you are going for it all now? Jiraiya questions. Tsunade nods. Danzo has been plotting for too long. After today I will only have to worry about threats from outside of the village for a while. Hopefully when you and Naruto get back, this place will be completely different in how they treat him. That's a lot to ask in 3 years. They have spent the last 13 hating his very existence. It isn't going to happen overnight. No. But when he gets back, I'm going to reveal his heritage. People should change their minds after that. Oh, and don't leave with Naruto yet. I'm going to be promoting him and telling him who he comes from. This gets Jiraiya worried. Are you sure that's a good idea? He is in a very fragile state as it is. He may not ever trust someone enough to get close to him now. Imagine when you tell him and his mind snaps. He won't be the same. Tsunade shakes her head. He already isn't the same. He will never be the same, as much as I hate to say it. Sakura broke him and I don't know if there is anything in this world that can fix him. So I might as well tell him now before he come to resent us both for not telling him. Jiraiya fixes her with an intense stare. You had better be right. Because if you aren't, Kushina will kill us again in the next life when we get there, making both of them involuntarily shudder. Just then the doors open and Anbu and Jonin enter the room. Good. Now you may already know that I have disbanded the civilian council and made the shinobi council just an advisory board. This gets murmurs from the crowd. Apparently not everyone knew. Anyways, I have one obstacle left before all threats are eliminated. Danzo. Another round of murmurs. Over 10 years ago, the Sandaime Hokage ordered Danzo to disband his private army known as Root. That has not happened. He probably is plotting a way to kill me before I ruin more of his plans. So, I have Squad 9 tracking him right now to his lair. Once we have confirmed the location of the Root base, all Anbu squads and squads made up of Jonin will assault the base. Kakashi Hitake will lead Kurenai, Choza Akamichi, and Hayama Shirakumo. Asuma Sarutobi will lead Hamaki Mimura, Yakumo Kurama, and Might Guy. Shikaku Nara will lead Shibi Aburame, Inoichi Yamanaka, and Tekuno Kanden. Shikaku, you will be in charge of the operation. Troublesome, reaches her ears from the back. Kill all who oppose and if possible, capture Danzo alive. If not, then it is of no consequence. Be on alert from now until we have confirmation. Once we do, you will move 2 hours after that. Be aware that Danzo may try to escape. All shinobi not specified to be in a squad will be posted in the forest to prevent that. Clan heads may use any shinobi you feel are up to the task. That was directed mostly at Hiyashi. His clan with the Byakugan will be invaluable in finding Danzo. If there are no questions, then you are all dismissed. Oh, and do not talk about this without a privacy seal. We cannot afford to have any leaks and let Danzo know. The assembled shinobi file out of the room in silence, leaving only Tsunade and Jiraiya. Then a boy of 13 years walks into the room, backpack over his shoulders. Instead of his, "Kill me," orange suit, he has on plain black Anbu paints and a t-shirt. "Ah, Naruto. I'm glad you made it. Come have a seat over here." Tsunade asks Shizune to close the door while she crosses the room and sits on a couch. Naruto joins her, not bothering to take off his backpack. It is then she gets a good look at him. His most noticeable feature before the change was his eyes. They really stood out from the mess of blonde hair. They are even more noticeable now, but not for any good reasons. Instead of shade of piercing light blue, they are now dull and dark with a tint of a sickly green color. His eyes hold no emotion, no spark that was there before, no life. "How are you doing?" she asks softly. No answer. Just stares at the ground. "Look, Naruto. I know the last thing you want to talk about is Sakura." He visibly recoils at the name, which is the only indicator that he is indeed listening. "About her, but in time you will find that it hurts less over time. Just know that when you are ready to talk about it, Jiraiya and I will always be available to you." Okay. No response of any kind, but she knows he is listening. "I'm promoting you to Chunin, Naruto." This gets a reaction. He slowly turns his head and looks at her with his soulless eyes. Now Tsunade hates Sakura more than ever. She took the only bit of innocence and whatever was left of his soul when she betrayed him. Naruto doesn't say anything, but he just stares at her as if wondering why. "I'm promoting you because 1. The council wouldn't let me, but they are gone so I can do what I want. 2. Because you have fought powerful enemies more than anybody at the Chunin exams and not only survived but beat them. I believe that you of all people deserve this more than anybody. 3. You have taken more punishment, more pain, and more heartbreak than anyone I know and still you fight. I believe that you will eventually find something to live for again, and when you do, you will be unstoppable. You have great potential and I want to see you fulfill that potential. Now I have something else to tell you now that you are of proper rank." She gets up and walks to a random picture that is hanging up on the wall. She takes the painting off the wall and opens her safe. Lame, I know. She pulls out a single scroll. She closes the safe and replaces the painting and sits back down on the couch. She is about to open the storage scroll when Jiraiya stops her. "Shouldn't you put up a privacy barrier first?" "I already did. The first thing I did when I got here was to make it so when the door closes it puts up the privacy barrier automatically." Satisfied with the answer, he sits back and hopes this doesn't backfire. She bites her thumb and breaks the blood seal on the scroll. She then extracts 4 scrolls which she hands to Naruto. "These are scrolls from your parents. I don't know what is in them, so you will have to open them and find out yourself. You should open them here, but I'm not going to force you." Naruto numbly takes the scrolls. He bites his thumb and breaks the blood seal on all 4 at once. He takes one and opens it. This one is a storage scroll. He summons whatever is inside and out pop hundreds if not thousands of scrolls. Tsunade and Jiraiya's eyes go wide. Holy shit. Jiraiya picks up a scroll and reads it. Uzumaki Kenjutsu, Uzumaki style Kenjutsu. Jiraiya picks up more scrolls. They range from history to clan jutsu to forbidden techniques. This looks like the entire library your father and mother had. There must be thousands of scrolls. Naruto, who would have been jumping off the walls at the prospect of learning so many jutsu, but this Naruto doesn't react. Instead, he ignores the mountain of scrolls and opens the next scroll. This one is a letter. Dear Naruto, I cannot express how sorry I am that I cannot be there right now. My name is Kushina Uzumaki, your mother. I come from the land of whirlpools and have lived in Konoha with your father ever since it was destroyed. First, I want to say that I hope you don't hate me. I didn't fight for you enough to stop the Kyuubi being sealed inside of you. I didn't want to, but in the end your father convinced me. I know we condemn you to a life of hardship and hatred, but I know that my son can overcome anything. I have left you my sword and my armor. They are things that get passed down from generation to generation, and now it is your turn. I have also included the entire Uzumaki library. This has everything from our techniques to our history to the secrets of the whirlpools. My job was to protect the library and ensure its survival, so I pass the task on to you, the last Uzumaki. I hope you can find it in your heart to forgive your father and I. We have wronged you more than anybody else. Worse is that we left you alone to deal with it. I know the villagers will not see you as the hero you are, but I can hope. Please don't hate us, dear, but I will understand if you do. I hope you are healthy and well. Give my regards to Sarutobi if he is still alive or whoever the current Hokage is. I hope you live a long and very happy life. Your loving mother, Kushina Uzumaki. Naruto reads the letter again and again. During this time, Tsunade and Jiraiya have picked up and resealed all the scrolls. Eventually he just rolls it back up and opens the next one. It too is a storage scroll. He unseals the items. Out puffs a sheathed sword and two large chests. He opens the first chest. The inside is much larger than the chest has room for. It looks more like a walk-in closet than a chest. Strapped to the walls are hundreds of three-pronged kunai. Naruto shuts the lid and goes to the second chest. Inside is a set of armor. Each piece is ruby red and very polished. There is a note right on top. This armor is the pride and glory of the Uzumaki clan. It is centuries old and very special. It is semi-sentient and will only allow the current head of the Uzumaki to wear it, all others will be crushed. It will grow or shrink to the body and consists of a breastplate, gauntlets, and greaves. Once on, channel chakra into the breastplate and the full suit will appear. The armor is made from a dragon's scales and hide, making it very flexible and very strong and hard to penetrate, and has the ability to harden or allow more flexibility depending on the situation and desire of the user. Being semi-sentient, this armor will automatically react to threats. Whether that is to harden the armor or to physically move the user, it will do so if allowed. When not needed, the armor will blend in as normal clothing while maintaining the protection it offers. When in the full armor is engaged, a helmet will also appear and completely cover the head, but will not hinder the user's ability to see. Use it well and represent the Uzumaki with pride. Naruto lets the note float from his hand and picks up the breastplate. It is surprisingly light. He puts on the breastplate, the fully gloved gauntlets, and then the greaves that go up to his mid-calves. The instant the greaves are on, Naruto feels a prick on his chest. After a minute or so, the armor visibly shrinks, conforming perfectly to Naruto's body. The breastplate shrinks and elongates so that it covers his stomach and sides. The gauntlets shrink and the fingers grow to accommodate his long and thin fingers. The greaves actually grow a little bigger, wider, and the metal crawls up his leg to just above his knees. Channeling chakra into the breastplate, he activates the full armor. Tsunade and Jiraiya watch as a flash of red starts from the breastplate. As the wave passes over Naruto's body, molten red seeps from the wave, and after a second, it solidifies. In less than 10 seconds, Naruto is standing head to foot in shiny red armor. It looks like Naruto is wearing a second skin. Albeit a very shiny and very strong second skin. Naruto is completely amazed, or as much as his current apathetic self will allow. He twists, turns, jumps, performs hand signs. He feels a very small amount of resistance when moving, but not as much as he was expecting. While he can feel the extra weight of the helmet, he can see clear as day, as if he wasn't wearing a helmet. Well, this is cool, he speaks for the first time in a week. But it isn't his normal cheery voice, but a monotone, almost uncaring voice. But it is a step in the right direction. He notices a slight muffle in his voice, like the sound and air are being filtered. Welcome, Master Naruto. Naruto jumps at the unexpected voice. Who are you? Naruto asks aloud. I am an imprint suit's first user, Kusaki Uzumaki. The original Kusaki made this suit after defeating a terrifying dragon that attacked Whirlpool many millennia ago. This armor was made from the defeated dragon's scales and skin. The dragon clan, ashamed that one of their own would do such a thing, offered themselves as the explicit summons of the wearer of this armor. I can offer help in battle, advice on any number of topics, or just a history lesson. As the guardian of this suit, I have sampled your blood to ensure that you are indeed an Uzumaki and then read your memories to find out if you are the head Uzumaki. If you had failed, then I would have killed you for putting on this armor. Naruto absorbs this information, but doesn't react to it visibly or verbally. Instead, he cuts the flow of chakra to the breastplate and the armor withdraws back to just the 3 pieces. Almost instantly, the armor adapts to look like normal clothing. The greaves become red steel-lined boots that go completely up to Naruto's knees, making it impossible to cut his Achilles tendons, and breaking his knee is much more difficult. The gauntlets become red fingerless gloves that go halfway to his elbows. And the breastplate becomes a red jacket that covers most of the gauntlets. Overall, he finds it acceptable. Before either Jiraiya or Tsunade can stop him, he takes out a kunai and jabs it into the back of his hand. Or that's would have happened if the kunai hadn't stopped about a centimeter from his hand by a layer of very dense and nearly impenetrable chakra. Self-inflicted damage is not recommended. Kusaki drawls. Just checking, Naruto says emotionlessly. He picks up the last item, his mother's sword. He unsheathes it and it almost instantaneously blinded by it. The sword appears to be made almost entirely out of light. He feels a very small percentage, about 0.5%, being pulled into the sword. Brings new meaning to the word lightsaber, Naruto thinks dryly. While he can't look directly at it, he finds that the intensity of the light is directly tied in with how much chakra is flowing into the blade. Apparently the sword had drawn on the chakra the instant it was drawn and drew too much, or didn't realize just how much more potent Naruto's chakra was. Naruto completely withdrew his chakra from the blade and he could finally look at it. He finds his earlier assumption that it was made out of light completely wrong. The katana-style blade is just over 50 inches long with a 10-inch hilt. The blade is long and very light and looks incredibly sharp. He runs his finger along the edge with no pressure added and is rewarded with a cut. But unknown to him, the sword has a second stage. Naruto notices the blood seeping into the blade. Suddenly an explosion of light erupts from the blade, making everyone cover their eyes and looking away. When the light dies down to tolerable levels, he finds that this blade is indeed made completely out of light. But that isn't the most shocking part of all. Standing next to Naruto is a redhead. She is about Naruto's height with waist-length auburn hair. She is thin, but obviously very powerful. Kushina. Tsunade stutters out. Yes, that is my name. Kushina Uzumaki. Before you ask, I am not really here. I am her chakra that has been stored in the sword from my previous uses. I do have her memories from the last time she used me, which was during the Kyuubi attack. Minato was just about to do the sealing when she sheathed me and I don't know anything after that. How many years has it been? 13, Jiraiya says. Then this must be her son. Well, my son, as I am her or at least a part of her. Well, I'm here to instruct you in the ways of Kenjutsu and in the personal Uzumaki styles, the dragon's talon and the dragon's scales. As you may have guessed, one is offensive and the other is defensive. So you are her, my son. You look a lot like your father, in fact you are almost an exact replica of him. I believe we wanted to call you Naruto, is that what they settled on? Naruto only nods, his soulless eyes on the ground, not able to look her anywhere near her eyes. This gets Kushina to raise an eyebrow. So, how do I ask this? Screw it. What's wrong with him? She points a finger at Naruto while looking to Tsunade and Jiraiya. Usually when someone sees their long-lost mother, they cry and hug. The exact opposite happens to be what Naruto is doing now. Tsunade and Jiraiya sweat drop. Just like her to not move around the niceties and just say it with as much tact as a bulldozer. He has gone through a rather big betrayal recently, and this is the result. He doesn't want to talk about it, but I'm sure he will open up eventually about it. Kushina puts her hands on his face, wincing herself at his violent recoil. She slowly and gently forces him to look at her. When she does, she instantly wants to murder his betrayer. I knew that the villagers probably wouldn't accept him, but make someone withdraw into themselves as a defense mechanism means that it was a huge betrayal. While she may not real, or the original Kushina, she still has the same emotions and personality that includes a very strong protective nature. She decides to drop it as he probably won't talk about it now. She lets him go and takes a step back to give him space. Well, anyways, I will be teaching you Dragon's Talon and Scales. After that, you will create your own style. It can be offensive, defensive, a combination of both, or something completely original. I assume that you, Jiraiya, will be training him at the same time. Jiraiya nods his head. Yeah, I'm taking him out for a 3-year training trip. Mostly it is to get away from this village and its bad memories for him. Then I don't have to tell you that you had better not corrupt my son with your perverted ideas. Because Kami can't and won't help you in the afterlife. To make her threat have a little more impact, she cracks her knuckles. Jiraiya is starting to visibly sweat under the collective glares of Kushina and Tsunade. Of course I won't. How could that thought have even crossed your mind? Kushina's glare only intensifies. I know you were and would have tried to. Or do you not remember when I caught you peeping on me several times as well as Tsunade? I will not have my son grow up to be a perv. Jiraiya can't answer as there is a hole in the wall in his outline with Tsunade's fist extended right where the only geyser was just at. Kushina growls as she turns away from the hole in the wall and faces Naruto once again. Anyways, this sword is a divine object and is centuries older than your armor. Its name has been lost to time, so you may want to look it up if get a chance. Being a divine object, this sword is made for defending and defeating demons and other hellish creatures. There are other divine weapons as well as demonic weapons. Try to avoid the demonic weapons as they try to take you over and eat your soul. This sword has 3 stages. The first one is a normal metal blade that can be used to battle human weapons. In the second stage, the blade becomes pure light and can be morphed into a number of different styles of blades from a katana to a zanbeitu, whatever the user desires. While in the second stage, it can cut through most normal metals, but demon steel and a few others found here will repel it. The third stage is something you are going to have to unlock it yourself. I cannot tell you. Now, once Jiraiya gets back in here, we can discuss who gets Naruto at what time. Said pervert clambers through the sized hole in the wall. Naruto tunes out the conversation. He doesn't really care about how he spends his time, just as long as they do it outside of the city. Getting bored, Naruto picks up the last and final scroll. Dear Naruto, my son. My name is Minato Namikaze, the Yondaime Hokage, and the reason for your torment. I am the one who came up with the idea of sealing the Kyuubi no Yoko in you and performed the sealing, giving my soul in exchange for the village. I know that they will not do as a request and treat you like a hero like your mother and I want to, but I have no choice as the Hokage. I won't ask for your forgiveness, I do not deserve it, but I do ask for your understanding. The seal Shinigami put on you is the Shiki Fujin, dead demon consuming seal. You may have noticed by now that your chakra is a bit more potent than other shinobi. This is due to the fact that Kushina was 2 months pregnant when I sealed the Kyuubi into you. Because the seal allows a very small amount of the Kyuubi's very potent chakra called Yuki to mix with your still developing chakra network and altering your own chakra on the most basic level. You have either pure Yuki or a Yuki chakra mix running through your body, making your techniques very powerful with just a fraction of the chakra that it normally takes. I have included the entire Namikaze library along with the rest of my 3-prong kunai that are used for the Hiraishin no Jutsu. I don't know if you will be able to learn it, but I hope you do and carry on the legacy. Included in the library are the blueprints and my notes on the Rasengan and Hiraishin no Jutsu. I cannot begin to describe how sorry I am that I forced such a terrible fate on you. I can only hope that your mother raises you to be a fine young man and that you are able to find peace and someone to love and love you in return. I must go now. The alarms are sounding, meaning the Kyuubi is only a half-hour away and I must prepare the seal. Goodbye and I love you. Minato Namikaze, Yondaime Hokage. P.S. Don't get mad with the current Hokage about not telling you about me. I left specific instructions that you are only to be told when you turn 16 or you make the rank of Chunin. I had many enemies that I know would take revenge for what I did out on you, my only heir. Naruto looks up and rolls the scroll up and tosses it on top of the other 3 scrolls. All 3 adults are watching him closely, not knowing what his reaction is going to be. When do we leave? His voice doesn't hold one bit of interest, making the others recoil at the very dead tone and look he is giving off. As soon as you're ready. If you want to leave the 2 letters here with Tsunade Harem, I'm sure she won't have a problem with that. You can seal up Kushina's sword or carry it with you, either is fine. By the time Jiraiya is finished speaking, Naruto is done. He had sealed up the 2 chests and tossed the 2 letters to Tsunade. He straps the katana sheath onto his waist and places the 2 storage scrolls in his bag and is at the door waiting for Jiraiya. He sheathes the sword and Kushina disappears back into the sword. Jiraiya stands and heads for the door before Tsunade stops them both from leaving. Wait. She rushes over to Naruto and gives him a huge hug, but careful not to crush him. Jiraiya gets a small nosebleed when he realizes Naruto's face is in the valley between her mountains of flesh. When she breaks the hug, she leans over to look him in the eye, unintentionally giving Naruto a good look at her breasts while Jiraiya is moving around behind Naruto trying to get a good look. Not that Naruto is looking or even noticing. For what it's worth, I'm sorry for what Sakura, Naruto flinches at the name, what she did to you. You should know that I revoked her shinobi license and she can no longer be a ninja in this village unless you want her to be. Sasuke will have his license revoked as well and he will never be able to leave the village. Jiraiya is going to seal his chakra too. Quote. Naruto shrugs. The bitch can have it back for all I care. I don't intend on seeing her ever again if I can help it. Just don't have the 2 of us on the same team, ever. She can burn in the 7 circles of hell for all I care. As for Sasuke, I couldn't care less. Tsunade is shocked at his statement, but can hardly blame him. Okay, I'll reinstate her, but let her know that you didn't do it out of the kindness of your heart and that she means nothing to you now. Listen, have a good trip and break from this town. When you get back I will see if you have the skills to be a hunter so that you don't have to stay in the city all that often, okay? Naruto nods. That's perfect. Naruto just turns from her. Naruto. One more thing. Naruto turns back. This was not your doing. You have no fault in how this turned out. She took advantage of your loneliness and used it against you. You didn't see how she was acting because you have never had a relationship like that. You don't know that a relationship is based off of mutual trust and respect. They are to blame, not you. I don't want you hating yourself for something you didn't know to look for. Okay. Naruto doesn't answer. She hopes that he is listening. After a few seconds Naruto shakes his head and walks out the door, not bothering to shut it. Tsunade looks at the open door. Bring him back, Jiraiya. I don't know what I would do if I lost him too. Sakura is sitting on a bench, pouting. She had Sasuke right in front of her when he just ran off. Damn it. That was my chance and I blew it. She rages in her mind. Hell yeah you did. Just tie him up next time and jump him for Kami's sake. He inner self berates her. She is about to reply when said emo king walks by. Shanaru. Inner Sakura yells, making Sakura's head swim for a second. Sakura makes a whimper as he walks past, not able to do anything but sit there, marveling at his mere presence. Sasuke, who heard the whimper, turns his head slightly to the side and sees her just sitting there with a massive blush on her face. In an act of a miracle, Sasuke actually sits beside her. Hey Sakura, you like me right? He asks as if he doesn't know. Sakura's blush intensifies tenfold. Why, yeah, she manages to stutter. Well, I was thinking. Would you do something for me if I promised to go on a date with you? Sakura nearly faints. She fights to keep the black spots that block her vision from overtaking her. Sure. Time skip -6 hours. Sakura walks along the street, feeling very nervous. She had just left the meeting with Kakashi on top of the academy. As soon as the meeting had ended, she ran from the roof before anyone could stop her. Hey Sakura-chan, a familiar voice comes from behind her. She turns around and lo and behold, there is the object of her nervousness and reason for leaving the meeting so quickly. Naruto walks up to her. Are you okay? You seem a little distracted at the meeting. Sakura does her best to act like she is appreciative, but is failing badly. Lucky for her, Naruto has had so little experience with people that he misses it completely. I'm fine, thanks. The last part is so quiet that Naruto doesn't even hear it. Well, since you're feeling okay, I was wondering if you would like to go and get some ramen with me. Bile rises up in her throat at the thought of eating that vile calorie-loaded excuse for a food, especially with Naruto. The reflex to shoot him down immediately swells in her veins, making her mouth opens before her brain kicks in and she remembers her conversation with Sasuke. Flashback. You want me to do what? She asks. As I said, I want you to go out with Naruto for a while until I say it's enough. I'm not saying that you have to kiss him or anything, but just spend time with him. Sakura is silent as she thinks. Well, I do want a date with Sasuke, but Naruto is gross. I bet he doesn't even take showers, judging from the smell. Little does she know that he can't take showers because he gets the water turned off every time he goes to his apartment. He only washes in the nearby river and he can't use soap or shampoo or he will kill the fish and other water creatures. But I really want to go on a date and then rub it in Enopig's face. I guess I can do that. Sasuke smirks. Good. Now while you are with Naruto, you can't shout how much better I am than he is or try to talk to me every chance you get. But you definitely can't talk about our deal with anyone or Naruto might find out. This is just between you and me. Just be a normal girlfriend to him minus the kissing part if you want. Sakura nods her head. She can do that. End flashback. Hello. Konoha to Sakura. Sakura shakes her head free of the memory. Sure. I'll go to lunch with you, but can we eat something else besides ramen? Naruto is stunned. Not once has she accepted a request to go on, for all intents and purposes, a date. Naruto quickly shakes that off. Sure. But there aren't many places that I'm allowed to go into. So what would you like to eat? Well, if you wouldn't prank people so much, then people wouldn't mind so much. She is blissfully unaware that his pranks have nothing to do why he is banned from so many places. How about sushi? Sushi is her favorite food and eats it as often as she can. Sure. I don't know any places around here. Naruto rubs his head in embarrassment. Sakura sighs and very hesitantly grabs Naruto's wrist before dragging him down the street. Time skip -4 months. Over the next few months since that first date, Sakura goes on many dates with Naruto. Not once have they gone out to Ichiraku's ramen, but to places that she likes and always makes Naruto pay and always orders the most expensive items. Naruto, however, doesn't seem to mind. In fact, people who knew him would say that this is the happiest they have ever seen him. Finally, he has someone to listen to him and pay attention to him. Currently, Sakura and Naruto are at her favorite sushi restaurant again for the 5th time. Naruto is always polite and very courteous, asking if there was anything he could get her or if she needs anything. Right now, Naruto is telling her one of his pranking stories. Sakura-chan, he asks. Was her response. She has been staring off into space, nibbling in a rolled piece of fish on a fork. You zoned out again. Oh, sorry, was the quiet response. Truly though, she wasn't the least bit sorry. All he talks about is some new jutsu that he saw or one of his pranks. Why can't he just shut up for once? How much longer am I going to have to put up with this before Sasuke's and my date? Naruto, however, has no idea what is going on inside her head. He takes a deep breath before calming his frayed nerves. Truth be told, he has been extra jittery today because of something he wants to ask her. Hey, Sakura-chan, I have been wondering if you would like to be my girlfriend. He says the end really quickly and recoils, expecting to get hit. Sakura, for her part, had been daydreaming about her date with Sasuke and was brought out of her wonderful dream by the last part of his sentence. What? She asks forcefully. Naruto cringes at the tone, but gathers his courage. I was wondering if you would like to be my girlfriend. Sakura can't believe her ears. Sure, Sasuke had said for a while, but damn it. He didn't say anything about becoming his girlfriend. She decides to go ahead and accept his offer because she can always just dump him. She tells herself that the next chance she gets is going to ask him about it, and he says okay to stop, she will dump him immediately. Sure, Naruto-kun. She has to fight down the wave of nausea when she says kun along with Naruto's name. She only succeeds because she keeps telling herself that it is all to get Sasuke, that this is just a means to an end. Hooray! Naruto leaps up and scoops Sakura in an enormous hug. Again she fights down a wave of bile at his stench. She imagines that these arms are Sasuke's and immediately relaxes into them, even putting her arms around Naruto. Naruto lets go of her and smiles his biggest smile. On the inside, Naruto is struggling to contain his excitement. He is happier than he has ever been. Someone has accepted him for who he is. He takes her hand and tosses the cash on the table and leads her out of the restaurant, noticing the very big flinch when he touched her hand, but writes it off as her not being used to contact. Time skip 4 months. Sakura sits in the lap of her 4-month boyfriend. Not that she wants to. It had taken her 3 months to just get this far. Since becoming his girlfriend, she too has been shunned by the populace of Konoha, believing her to be a demon bitch, or a demon whore. More than once, Naruto has gotten into brawls over someone calling Sakura a whore and she has been banned from half the restaurants in the city as well as her family. When asked about dating the demon, she told her parents that she was dating him, but only at Sasuke's request. Being the Uchiha lovers they are, they immediately praised Sakura for getting one step closer to having his children. She has also learned more about Naruto himself. Besides writing off being called a demon because of his pranks, she went to his apartment and saw that it was absolutely disgusting. Pieces of wood on the walls and ceiling were rotten and collapsed, the floor had numerous holes in it, making you watch where you had to step, the refrigerator was broken, and the water was the dirtiest she has ever seen. It was almost black in color. She immediately left the apartment, not able to stand the smell of rotting wood and the gas given off by the termites in the walls and wood. Naruto chased after her, but stopped after he got to his stairs as she had already rounded the corner, racing to her home to take a shower. Naruto recalls the conversation that he had with Choji and Shikamaru a few weeks back. Flashback. Naruto is walking down the street, hands in his pockets, whistling some off-tune song. He hears someone call his name from behind. He turns and finds Shikamaru and Choji walking up to him. Hey guys. What's up? Naruto asks. Are you busy? We have something troublesome that we need to talk to you about, Shikamaru says in his lazy voice. Sure. I have nothing to do. I have to meet Sakura in 2 hours for a date, but other than that I'm free as a bird. Shikamaru mutters a troublesome before motioning Naruto and Choji to follow. After a few minutes walk, they enter training ground 4. It is mostly a thin forest with small animals. Teams come here to train their tracking abilities. So what's up, Naruto? Have you noticed anything odd about Sakura? Shikamaru asks. He lays on the ground and watches the clouds go past through the holes in the canopy above them. What do you mean? Naruto asks guardedly. Munch, what he means is, have you noticed any strange behavior from her? Choji asks between breaks in eating his chips. No. Why? What's this about? Shikamaru sighs. As troublesome as it is, we want to let you know that we think Sakura isn't genuine in her wanting to go out with you. What the hell are you talking about? Naruto shouts, making the birds above them take flight from the sudden noise. Look, Munch, don't take this the Munch wrong way. She is a great person, Munch, but she doesn't act like she wants to be with you. Did you notice her sudden attitude change 8 months ago when she first said yes to goes out with you on a date? She doesn't bother Sasuke anymore. She doesn't go mouthing off about how great he is. She doesn't defend him when someone else besides you insult him, and she doesn't fight over him with Ino. What prompted her to have a complete change of heart in a few minutes? I think that it is because she doesn't really want to be with you. Look, Munch, she doesn't act like a normal girlfriend. She flinches whenever you grab her hand. When you Munch hug her, she tenses up a lot and then relaxes. She Munch berates you all the time. She hits you twice Munch as much as in the academy. Have you ever gone to a Munch place that you wanted to eat? Well, no, but I don't have a problem with that. Has she even kissed you? Does she tell you that she likes you or given you a present or given you any type of moral or emotional support? I see her forced smiles, the strain in her voice when she uses the kun at the end of your name. She stands as far away from you as possible without drawing attention to herself. She uses every excuse she can think of to get away from you. She doesn't enjoy spending time with you from the pained look on her face every time you hug her. Well, we haven't kissed. She said she wants to save that for a special occasion. I don't care about the rest of that. All I care about is that she pays attention to me. She listens to me, spends time with me. That's more than I can say with 99% of the people in this village. Naruto, we just want to keep you from being hurt. Sakura isn't the kind of person who doesn't change who she is in a matter of hours without something drastic happening that we would have heard about. Naruto lowers his eyes so that his bangs cover his face. When he looks up, his eyes are shining in anger. I don't care about the way she acts or what you think about she would or wouldn't do. She is my girlfriend and I trust her more than anyone. She is the first person to accept me like I am enough to go out with me. Do you know what it feels like to not have a friend until you were 9? Do you know what it feels like to not know who your parents are? To wonder if they ever loved you. If they thought I wasn't worthy of them. Do you know what it's like to go home to an empty, rundown apartment night after night? When I can't own anything of value because the moment I do have something, it gets stolen or my apartment gets burned down again. When I'm with Sakura, I don't have a care in the world. She completes me. I can't imagine what I would do without her. Now Shikamaru and Choji get really worried. Sakura has Naruto wrapped around her finger and they can only hope that she chooses the right path because if not, there's no telling what Naruto would do. End flashback. Naruto is waiting for Sakura outside her house so they can go to a team meeting together. Naruto turns as Sakura exits her house and was about to sneak around the side and avoid Naruto when he spots her. What are you doing, Sakura-chan? He asks in his normal happy self. Sakura looks at him like a deer in headlights. She looks away quickly and cursing her luck at getting caught. I dropped something out the window. Yeah, was sitting next to this window when I knocked something off and I was going to look as I left the house. She commends herself on thinking up something so quickly. But she soon realizes that it is the wrong thing to come up with. Naruto is immediately over her fence and on his knees looking for the dropped object. Sakura stands up and just lets Naruto do the dirty work. She contemplates leaving him here, but it would just make things harder for her later on. I can't find it. What was it again? He asks. She rolls her eyes. Can he get any dumber? Don't worry about it. We need to get to the meeting. Sakura doesn't wait for Naruto and she immediately starts walking down the street. She hears Naruto run up beside her and before she can stop him, he grabs her hand and holds it as they walk down the street. Hey, Sakura-chan, I never told you this, but Shikamaru and Choji had a talk with me a few weeks ago about you. Sakura's heart stops. Inside she is freaking out. What the hell were they talking about? Why would they talk to him about me? I've done nothing that. Shut the hell up and listen and you will probably find out. Inner yells at outer. They said that they think you aren't genuine as they put it in wanting to be with me. They kept saying that you did things that girlfriends don't usually do, but I don't care about those things. I like you because of those things make you unique. I told them that I don't care about what you do as long as you want to be with me. You do, don't you? Naruto is leaving himself on a diving board over a deep pool with no water. Sakura for her part is shocked at his words. He likes her because of the things she does to minimize her time and contact with him. Naruto, you really are an idiot. She is too shallow to realize the meaning behind it. Time skip 2 months. Sakura is walking down the street having just gotten rid of Naruto at his apartment. Naruto had taken to kissing her on the cheek, making her involuntarily cringe every time. She sighs as she walks to her house for a scrub down to get his germs off of her skin. She walks past the main gates and takes a left and walks further down. Usually she doesn't take this route but for some reason she feels compelled to tonight. As she walks she spots a boy with black hair and a backpack walking towards the main gate. Wait, why is Sasuke here? The Uchiha compound is on the other side of Konoha. And why does he have a backpack? Sasuke-kun, she calls out. Said Uchiha stops in his tracks and a smirk comes over his face. Hello Sakura. She approaches him and jumps up happily. What's the backpack for Sasuke-kun? I'm leaving. Simple as that. Sakura's proverbial bubble fluctuates, being poked at by Sasuke on the outside. What about our deal? Sasuke tilts his head back and laughs, a very creepy and evil laugh. Did you honestly think that I would actually go on a date with a weakling like you? You aren't worth me spending any extra time with you, much less eating a meal I won't like in a place that I definitely won't like. Now Sakura's bubble bursts. She falls to the ground, crushed. Why would you make the deal then? She manages through a torrent of tears. Sasuke chuckles again. Because I wanted Naruto to get close to you. With that he knocks her on the back of the neck and just leaves her lying on the dirty ground as he jumps over a low section of wall and out into the forest. Time skip -5 hours. Naruto stands with Shino, Choji, Shikamaru, Neji, and Kiba at the gates. They had just arrived to go after Sasuke. They turn to leave when a sobbing and dirty Sakura stops them. Go on ahead guys. I need to talk with her for a few minutes. Quote. Shikamaru gets a bad feeling in his stomach, but nods anyways and the four jump away towards Otogakure. What's the matter Sakura-chan? Naruto hugs her to calm her down, but she pushes him away. Bring him back. Bring back my Sasuke-kun. Naruto blinks for a second. Her Sasuke. What do you mean? She looks up, her eyes red and puffy. She grabs his collar and shakes him violently. Promise me you will bring him back. She snarls at him. Naruto, not really knowing what to do, just nods. Okay, I promise to bring him back. I have to go now. Naruto tries to hug her, but she fights him off and shouts for him to go. Now really confused Naruto jumps off after his squad mates and forces his confusion to the back of his mind until after the mission. Time skip -2 hours. Sasuke and Naruto stand on opposite statues at the valley at the end. So you came. How's Sakura? Sasuke asks without turning around. That's none of your damn business. Under orders of the Hokage, you are to go back to the village immediately. Sasuke laughs. And you think you can make me? I'll bring you back even if I have to break every bone out your body. Sasuke turns around and finally faces Naruto. Then show me. Sasuke jumps across the gap and charges Naruto, Sharingan blazing. Sasuke launches a roundhouse at Naruto's head, intent on making this a quick fight. But Naruto ducks under it and uses an uppercut aimed at Sasuke's chin. He sees this however and moves to the side, making Naruto miss and leaving him wide open. So, how's Sakura doing after I left her in the dirt? Naruto blood starts to boil. What the hell did you do to her? Naruto's anger makes him faster and stronger. He avoids a back fist aimed for his face and punches Sasuke in the chest, making him take a couple of steps back. I didn't do anything. I asked her a favor almost a year ago and she ran with it. Sasuke does a front kick. He then presses the attack with taijutsu since Naruto's poor excuse for taijutsu isn't his weakest category, but it is abysmal at best and non-existent at worst. Sasuke forces Naruto back before kicking Naruto in the side of the leg, forcing him to one knee. Sasuke then brings his other knee right into Naruto's face. The impact shatters Naruto's chin in 3 places. Naruto hits the ground and lies on there, waiting for Kyuubi to heal his injuries. You see, Dobi, Sakura only dated you because I asked her to. This whole time she has been faking and you didn't pick up on it at all. In fact, you defended her. Naruto, having his jaw fixed, lets out a low growl. Suddenly a red layer of chakra envelopes Naruto. Before Sasuke can even lift a finger, he has a fist in his gut. Spit flies out of Sasuke's mouth and hits Naruto's external chakra. It hisses as it evaporates. Shut up. Sakura-chan would never do that. Naruto continues to beat the stuffing out of Naruto. Suddenly Sasuke can see Naruto's actions before they happen. Finally, my Sharingan must have matured. This Dobi stands no chance now. Sasuke intercepted Naruto's punch and backhands Naruto, forcing him away. Naruto rushes Sasuke once he recovers, but with his new Sharingan, Naruto doesn't stand a chance and is getting beat pretty badly. Why can't I beat him? I can't fail Sakura-chan. I won't. I need more power. Out of the chakra cloud, a tail pops out. Naruto's fingers are claws and his eyes are slitted. A pair of ears on top of the chakra shield gives him the distinct look of an animal. I will bring you back. Naruto disappears and Sasuke finds a foot in his stomach. As he flies back, he falls off the edge and splashes into the reservoir. Naruto follows him down, but uses chakra to stand on the water, making it steam and partly cloud him vision. Naruto looks around and a bubbling a few feet away from him alerts him to something. Suddenly a burst of flames comes from the water aimed right at him. Naruto doesn't make any attempt to dodge and is engulfed in the flames. Sasuke climbs on top of the water panting. Stupid Dobi. Can't even dodge a fireball. He is about to leave when the fire dies down, leaving an untouched Naruto. What? How? Instead of answering, lets out a primal roar. It is so loud that it makes Sasuke a little lightheaded from his inner ear being disrupted. Deciding he needs more, he activates the first level of the curse mark. Let's go Dobi, was all he says before blurring away. Unfortunately for Sasuke, with Naruto's Kyuubi enhanced eyes and speed, he can easily keep up. With a massive swing of his hand sideways, he lets loose several horizontal waves of chakra slashes, right at Sasuke. Shit, was all he could think before allowing himself to sink underneath the surface of the water. Naruto looks around and hears a sound behind him. Chidori. 1000 birds. Naruto moves to the left and finds the tips of Sasuke's right hand through his right shoulder. If he hadn't moved, it would have been his heart. With a howl of pain that nearly makes Sasuke deaf, Naruto grabs Sasuke's fingers and doesn't allow him to move. Sasuke yells in pain as the violent chakra burns his fingers. It only gets worse when Naruto wraps his tail around Sasuke's chest, burning completely through his clothes and burning his skin. After about a minute, Naruto flings Sasuke to dry ground while the hole in his shoulder heals. Sasuke struggles to get up after receiving the worst burning of his life. Blackened skin now scars his chest. As Naruto reaches the shore, he glares at Sasuke. More. I need more. If the damn Dobi can beat me, I won't stand a chance. More. 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 Sasuke's body erupts in purple charca, completely encasing his body. A diamond of darker skin now resides over his nose while his skin is just a few shades lighter. He also has a pair of very creepy hand-looking wings. Ha 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 ha. The power. With this power, I can easily defeat Itachi. Now, Dobi, you're in my way. Sasuke blurs away again, but this time Naruto just barely keeps up. A right hook to Naruto's face sends him back out on the water. Sasuke doesn't let up. He connects with a right kick to Naruto's ribs that would have broken them had he not had the chakra shield. Naruto slides across the water and rights himself before giving a massive roar and charging Sasuke, who just stands there, Sharingan spinning wildly. Naruto slashes at Sasuke, who sidesteps them and kicks Naruto in the chest, sending him away. But Naruto isn't going down alone. When Sasuke kicked him, he wrapped his tail around the left leg that is still on the water, and when he is kicked back, Sasuke follows him. Naruto lands on all four limbs and elongates his tail, making it several dozen times longer than normal. He keeps Sasuke suspended in the air, all the while burning his leg. He attempts to right himself with his wings, but the hold on his leg intensifies as well as the burns. Naruto then lets out a massive roar and slams Sasuke into the ravine walls. Again, and again, and again. On his 12th time smashing Sasuke, he drags him along the wall, leg first followed very quickly by his chest and face. With one last whip of his tail, he flicks Sasuke into the wall on the other side on the lake. Sasuke slides down the wall and slumps against the wall, barely conscious. Even with LV2 activated and makes his skin harder, it is no match for repeated smashes and drags. Naruto pounces up to where Sasuke is. Seeing his grievous injuries and that he is barely conscious, Naruto's chakra cloak drops, leaving him severely tired, burned, and depleted. He limps up to Sasuke, who has lost his LV2 and is back to his normal self. Naruto is a few inches from picking Sasuke up to carry him back when Sasuke's arm glows. It gets brighter and brighter and Naruto wonders what the hell is going on. Suddenly Sasuke's eyes snap open. Chidori. Naruto is too tired and slow to dodge it completely. Naruto finds Sasuke's hand in his chest again. But Naruto isn't going to back down. He takes his left hand, the only hand he can use since Sasuke's Chidori is messing with the nerves in his right side, and chokes Sasuke. His hand closes around the vein and artery on both sides of his neck and Sasuke instantly starts to feel lightheaded. After 10 seconds of Naruto squeezing, Sasuke loses consciousness. His arm slumps out of Naruto's chest and allows the wound to begin healing. Combined with the previous injury from the Chidori, Naruto has a huge hole in the right side of his chest. Technically, he shouldn't even be alive, much less standing. Naruto sighs and grips Sasuke with his left and as hard as he can and jumps out of the valley of the end and begins his long trek back to Konoha. After 10 minutes of walking, Kakashi jumps in front of him. Seeing Sasuke in his condition, he freaks out. What the hell did you do? How could you do this to your own teammate? He shouts. Naruto rolls his eyes. He is tired of Kakashi's favoritism towards the Uchiha, but is too tired to do anything about it. Take him to the hospital. I'll catch up. Kakashi immediately takes Sasuke and shunsons towards Konoha. Well, one problem solved. Now I just have to get back. Naruto walks for a good half hour before medics arrive. Naruto gratefully lays down on the stretcher and allows darkness to claim him. A faint smile is seen on his lips. He completed the mission and kept his promise to Sakura. Time skip -6 hours. Konoha Main Hospital. Naruto wakes to a pain alternating between sharp and dull in his chest. He forces his eyes open. He is staring at a blank ceiling. He tilts his head to the right and sees his chest wrapped in a massive bandage and an IV lodged in his right arm. "Ah, Naruto, you're awake," a voice calls. Naruto turns to the other side and sees Tsunade sitting next to his bed, reading glasses on with a book in her hand. What happened? You stopped Sasuke from leaving the village. During the fight you took a couple of high-rank assassination techniques to the chest. On top of that, you used the Kyuubi's chakra for an extended period of time which left your coils burnt out and chakra burns all over your body. The hole in your chest was closing when you arrived here and isn't quite finished healing. You will have to stay here for a few days to gain your strength back and for observation. She is expecting Naruto to fight her on this like every other time, but he oddly doesn't. Where is Sakura-chan? Tsunade frowns. She hasn't left Sasuke's room once since you got back. She hasn't asked on your condition. She watches Naruto reaction. How is Sasuke? He asks quietly. You did a number on him. All his ribs are broken, he has a very severe concussion, a punctured left lung, severe burns across his chest and left leg, severe chakra exhaustion, and somehow a fractured tailbone. Naruto looks down. So he is pretty hurt. The guilt in his voice can't get any thicker. Tsunade sighs. This always happens to people who are forced to fight each other like that who are or have been on the same team. You did what you had to. You didn't kill him and should make a full recovery with a scar over the burned sections of his chest. You showed a lot of restraint when using the Kyuubi's chakra. Most people lose control while using a Bijuu's chakra like that. Naruto nods. Tsunade can only guess as to his line of thinking. Can I go and see him? Tsunade looks at him over her glasses. She has a feeling on why he wants to go and see him is not for him but the person who has yet to leave his room. Sure, I don't see why not. Just be careful. You should also visit the rest of your team. They are all on the same floor as you. Sasuke is in room 205 down the hall to the left. Thanks Ba-chan. Naruto gets up very slowly as his right side is still very sore. With Tsunade's help, he shuffles out the door with her right behind him on her way back to her office across town. He reaches Sasuke's room. Tsunade puts a hand on his shoulder in support and walks past him. He opens the door and doesn't get 2 steps inside before he is punched in the face so hard he flies into the wall. He looks up and sees a seething Sakura over him. What was that for? He asks. You did this to him and you have the gall to ask what you did. She says with as much venom as she can while pointing at Sasuke's form. I did what I had to. He wouldn't come back with me so I fought him to complete the mission and to keep my promise to you. You didn't have to put him into a coma. Naruto is starting to get mad. What the hell was I supposed to do? He put 2 holes in my chest. He was trying to kill me. That is no excuse to do that to my Sasuke-kun. Wait, you're Sasuke. What the hell? You're my girlfriend. You're supposed to be on my side when someone like the Hokage gives me an order to bring him back forcibly. Sakura gives a dark chuckle. Your girlfriend, huh? Well, sorry too. You know what? I'm not sorry to say this. I never wanted to be your girlfriend. I never liked you. I hate spending time with you. You smell like a pig, you don't shut up, you have the filthiest place I have ever seen. You can't compare to someone like Sasuke-kun. The only reason I went out on a date with you is so I could go on a date with him. And when he left he said he would never go out with me so why should I keep pretending to be your girlfriend? Naruto just stares at her. His brain trying to comprehend the meaning behind her words. But what about? He doesn't get a chance to finish. I never enjoyed your company. I could barely stomach it. Every time you touched me I had to fight to keep my food down. I flinched every time you took my hand. When we hugged, I only took it because I imagined that you were Sasuke. You make me sick. Did you never notice how I would always pick the most expensive things on our dates? Did you not notice how I would always find an excuse to get away or how I would put as much distance between us as possible? Kami, you are the dumbest person I know. And then you hurt my Sasuke-kun. I never want to see your face again. If I do, then I will kill you with my bare hands. Naruto his whole time is dumbstruck. Neither notice that his chest is now crimson with his blood from the gaping hole still there. What's worse is that the door is still wide open, allowing the entire floor to hear her rant. Just as she finishes, Naruto collapses. His mind unable to deal with the stress. Sakura is contemplating throwing him out the window when Tsunade bursts into the room. She looks from Naruto on the ground unconscious to the very fresh bruise on his face and the blood-soaked bandages, then to Sakura who is flushed after her little speech. Tsunade wants to rip into her, but she has more pressing things to deal with. She picks Naruto up and faces the door where she stops for a second. You better not leave this room, Haruno. You and I are going to have a discussion after he is stabilized. And with that she leaves the room, leaving Sakura to poke her head out the door at the retreating form of the Hokage. When she looks the other way, she sees most of her class and a few of the others glaring at her. What? She asks. Shikamaru gets up and gets an inch from her face, his own reflecting pure, barely contained rage. How dare you do that to Naruto? Hasn't he had enough suffering in one lifetime that you have to rip his heart out of his chest and rip it into 1,000 pieces? I don't. She starts before being cut off by a now red-faced Shikamaru. Fucking shut up. You fucking cunt bag. You don't realize what you have done to him. You are so blinded by your crush that you just trampled on one of the greatest heroes that this village has ever known. The whole group is stunned by his outburst. Shikamaru never has done this in his life. Not once has he ever raised his voice. But he doesn't stop with that. He is like an avalanche. He is on a roll and there is nothing anybody can do to stop him. You remember your mission to Waves, right? You remember what he yelled at Inari, right? Well, guess what? Everything that happened to him in the past was nothing compared to what you did. After all the shit this village put him through, he still put a smile on. He still laughed and made jokes and tried to make our lives a little happier at his own. You, however, had no regard for him and you took advantage of his need for attention and love and you ripped him to shreds. You had better hope that he is okay or else this village won't be enough to save you from my wrath. With that Shikamaru turns on his heels and is about to storms away when he stops and turns back to slap her in the face. Hard. So hard that it leaves his hand stinging and an enormous red mark on her face. Then he turns and leaves, not once looking back. One by one, her friends all follow his example, sending glare after glare and calls like, bitch, and backstabber, as they pass. After they leave, does the gravity of what she did hit her? She collapses to the ground and cries in self-pity for herself. Naruto is walking behind Jiraiya, not really paying attention to where his feet are taking him. He is just relieved to get out of that Kami-forsaken village. But he isn't paying attention at all, just numbly walking along, not really thinking, and yes, men have the ability to just do something without thinking, contrary to most women's beliefs that the male brain is always working. But if he would have been paying attention, he would have noticed that his feet are carrying him somewhere that isn't in the direction that Jiraiya is walking. Jiraiya looks behind him to see Naruto walking off at a 45-degree angle from his own path. He yells Naruto's name to get his attention, but no luck. He runs after Naruto before he gets too far. What are you doing, Naruto? We need to get to my contact, he says. Naruto just keeps on plodding away like he never heard a thing that Jiraiya said. Jiraiya places a hand on Naruto's shoulder, but the instant he makes contact he is blasted away by pure chakra. Not knowing what the hell just hit him, he jumps back towards Naruto and tries to physically stop him, but the same result occurs, but with more force. Jiraiya has no option but let Naruto continue and follow closely. After an hour or so, Jiraiya notices that they are on top of the mountain overlooking Konoha. Naruto stops so suddenly that Jiraiya almost makes the mistake of bumping into him. Naruto just stands in one stop, eyes closed. After a minute or so, Jiraiya is about to ask what they are doing there when he feels a huge chakra spike from Naruto. As Naruto flares his chakra to its fullest extent, Jiraiya falls to his knees, unable to keep up with the pressure. A few more seconds and the chakra stops, allowing Jiraiya to breathe again, stand back up. Suddenly the whole mountain starts to shake, forcing Jiraiya to hold onto a tree for support. He looks back to Naruto when the ground under Naruto's feet cracks and falls out from under him. Naruto. Jiraiya quickly jumps after him, biting his thumb and ready to summon Gamabunta. But after a short, pitch-black fall, Jiraiya feels himself slowing on his own. He eventually reaches the bottom and gently stops a centimeter off the ground. He climbs to his feet and sends chakra to his senses. The tunnel is pitch black. No light, not even from the hole he jumped through. He hears someone walking further down the tunnel. He feels a very soft breeze blowing down the tunnel as well. He does a quick Kaden jutsu and a ball of fire orbits his head. He creates two more, an uninterrupted light source. Jiraiya quickly follows the footsteps he assumes is Naruto's. After walking what seems like hours in the twisting tunnel, it starts to slop downward. Jiraiya speeds up, hoping to catch Naruto before something happens to him. After a half hour of more walking, Jiraiya comes across a huge cavern. The ceiling is so high he can't even see it or the back wall. He brightens the spheres of fire orbiting him, giving more light. He listens and follows the sounds of footsteps. Another minute of walking and he finds Naruto just standing there. Naruto. This time Naruto turns around. Jiraiya notices something about Naruto. His eyes hold curiosity instead of apathy. They still are dead inside, but not as much. Hey Arrow Sennin. I was wondering when you would get down here, Naruto calls in a monotone voice. Inside Jiraiya is jumping for joy. Not once since the hospital incident has he called him Arrow Sennin. So what is this place? Asks Naruto. Jiraiya looks confused. Me. Why should I know? I was following you here, then you flared your chakra causing the ground underneath you to cave and then walked down the tunnel. So I should be asking you. Naruto rubs his head. I don't know. I was walking behind you, not paying attention. Next thing I know I'm down here. Jiraiya is about to answer when he sees something gleam off the light from his fire. He walks over to it and sees that it is a tray of some sort with a thick, smelly, and dark liquid inside. Having seen one of these before, he directs one of his balls to touch the liquid. The moment the ball makes contact, it ignites the substance. The fire zooms down the tray. Naruto and Jiraiya follow it around the room. Suddenly it takes an incline and is gone. Naruto and Jiraiya stare in disappointment at the spot the fire trail disappears. Suddenly the whole cavern is filled with light. They look up and see that the tray didn't end where they thought it did. It just blocked the fire since they were standing under it. They look at the light source. It seems to be a massive ball of fire suspended by nothing, like a miniature sun just floating right above them. They look around the newly lit room. They find themselves at the center of a colossal cavern. It is bigger than either one of them thought. The ceiling goes at least 300 feet abo,